All right, I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to the Town Council Work Session, Monday, August 6th. Welcome everyone. Lead off with a donation of poles to the RMA by Director of Energy Services, who's on vacation, so we'll go with Joe Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. Randolph-Macon Academy is requesting the donation of 10 12-foot used utility poles to be used for their training exercises up there. We normally sell these utility poles at our annual auction. I would recommend giving them to them. Our last auction, we sold a bulk of 100 used utility poles and got $80. So just kind of give you the value of these poles. So they're requesting 10, and I'd like to seek approval for that and put it on the consent agenda next week for approval.
Mr. Larson?
No problem.
Leslie?
I think we should get $8 for them.
Well, I thought about doubling the order for $8.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta carry them, I wanna see you pick them up.
That was back in the day, Bill. John?
I'm good.
Gary?
These are the future officers of our military.
You have the council's blessing, Joe, to let them come pick them up.
Very good.
All right, let's go with continued discussion of the radio system for the police department. Chief? We'll bring the podium up here a little closer.
Sure.
Please.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, appreciate it. All right, so last time we spoke and pretty much went through the system and explained out the equipment, the needs, and all that. And we promised you we'd come back with hard numbers this week. So what we've got for the equipment list price is $553,933. Installation, optimization, and testing, $56,806, which brings the subtotal to $610,739. Then we apply the discount of $65,739 based on the Virginia State contract, brings the net total to $545,000. We've identified a few different payment options. One would be leasing with Motorola, and if I could have Butch Bryant explain the leasing options with you. Sure. You guys remember Butch from last time?
Yes.
Mayor, council, thank you all. The leasing is pretty straightforward. You can see down there, there is the maximum term is 7 years. I will say I've seen Motorola at times go up to 10, but it becomes expensive to do that, so 7 is the standard. And the primary thing to keep in mind is that first payment is due 1 year after the contract is signed, so it gives you a little bit of time to get the system in and implemented before you actually have to start paying for it.
But you're paying interest on it in the first year? Or is it interest-free first year?
I don't know. I can find that out.
Well, the implementation would take place in 2020. If we get finished this year, they'll use it for 1 year in 19 and start paying in 2020.
Actually, you would start paying in 19. I'm assuming you would sign the contract sometime this year.
Right.
So then it would be a year from the time you sign the contract.
It would be in fiscal year 2020.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay.
I think it's
Joe?
Yeah, BJ, me and BJ had a discussion earlier today, and I want him to talk about some of the other avenues of financing that we can look at and broach the subject of some different options that we want council to consider, or at least think about.
What time
Along
frame
with
are we
these.
looking that we need to make a decision?
Well, you know, we
You
would
have any
like,
timeline?
well, the timeline is we would love to be able, ideally, we'd love to be able to have the new radio system when we move into the new
Oh,
building.
absolutely.
I mean, that would be the best case where we wouldn't be moving older technology, old equipment, and then 6 months later have to turn around and remove it and replace it. So with that in mind is what we're kind of working on, trying to get something implemented, or get something moving in that direction as soon as possible.
What's the timeline they need to get it in the building and up and running? 3 months?
Well, you know, our substantial completion date of the project is December 31st with a full
Yes.
completion of January 31st. So ideally, we'd like that to follow in that same suit. Even if we were delayed a month or so, to say February or March, we could make provisions in transferring our radio communications from our old facility over to the new facility until the new equipment came. So we could make some,
Are we looking at
we
kinda
could
like
make some provisions.
End of August, 1st September, for try to make that a.
Well, I'd like
date.
for
You're the
BJ
expert
to,
here, why don't you tell us how long does it take to install it?
It's not going to take that long to install it. The majority of the time is lead time getting the equipment in.
Right.
And once it's in, getting it inventoried, scheduled, once the work begins, it won't take too long. I think from our vantage point, if we could place the order before the end of September,
That's what I was wondering, what do we need to do with our time frame of having it ready to go December 31st? So,
yeah, I think,
and that's,
and that would be the maximum, as with
Yeah.
any project, the more time you can give us, the better. But I think end of September, we would be okay.
okay.
So you're saying approximately 3 months? That's to get all the bugs out installed.
Yep, get it optimized and tested.
DJ, you got something to?
Yes, it looks like, payment-wise, if we go with the 7-year, we're looking at approximately $102,000 a year. 4 years would be approximately $160,000. Currently, we have $50,000 budgeted in fiscal year 19. Like they had mentioned, the first payment's not due for a year, so we could potentially budget for the future years, as you just mentioned, fiscal year 2020. A couple other options. We could reach out to VML Vaco, see if they have better financing options, maybe longer terms, better rates. We can certainly use the general fund balance to pay for the project if council so elects, or we could explore using the new market tax credit if we so choose. I don't know if that is an option, but we could certainly look into it. So just trying to get a little bit of direction on how council would like to proceed.
Okay.
BJ, what would be the advantage of paying 4.5% to 5% interest over loaning the money to ourselves and paying it back?
Not much, really. It would be more beneficial for us to loan ourselves the money and go that route. That's certainly an option as well.
So if that would be more beneficial, shouldn't we be working up an option to do it that way if that's going to save us roughly 3% interest on an annual?
We certainly can. I mean, that's kind of the premise of taking it away from fund balance and then paying it back.
Right.
So yes, we can certainly work on that option as well.
It's a pretty good substantial price tag, but every dollar we can save is absolutely
Yes.
essential. Morrison, your thoughts?
Oh, honestly, I like to hear what the consensus is right now.
Okay. John?
I'd be interested to see if you could bring us back some numbers, BJ. Kind of what the other options are on the table here. I like knowing that we've got 3 different options here as far as leasing goes. I do think that we should move forward with the project. It's just a matter of figuring out how we're gonna go about
I
it.
understand. I can reach out to VML Vaco and put a couple.
Gary?
Yeah, I just got a couple questions here. Does that include the programming software for the radios?
I don't know if we included that or not, but that's a fairly inexpensive option. I would say that we could supply that and include that if you need that.
What is the backup system? Is there a backup system if they fail?
So the backup system, the radio system itself utilizes Front Royal's internal network for the consoles and everything to be connected. So if that network fails, you don't lose connectivity. The connectivity falls back to radio. Now what you do lose is information in the consoles that you would have otherwise, and the ability for the operators to do a lot of different things, but you'll still have communication.
Bill? You finish right.
Is one of the options to roll this over into the loan funds for the police department?
Yeah, that would be the new market tax credit option.
Yes.
Joe, it seems like, Mr. Morrison, do you want to chime in since everybody's, I'm thinking moving forward with the project, with BJ bringing loan options, payment options back at the next work session.
Right. Yeah, it's safe. I think that's good.
Joe, I think we have consensus to move forward with the project.
Mayor, one more thing, I just wanted
Sure.
to put everything out on the table. I wanted to make sure that everybody knew the maintenance costs. The
Yes,
first
that
year they
was-
would be included. Second year, they would come to $6,454.80. Year 3, they would go to $8,391.24, and would continue at that rate through the next several years.
Well, we figured we'd take that out of your budget.
And I appreciate that.
Who are we paying that to?
That's to Motorola for the service. Maintenance. That's also pretty comparable to what we pay now for our annual rate for radios. So we wouldn't really see that as an issue. But just wanted to put everything out on the table.
All right, Joe, let's move forward with the project, and if BJ can bring us the figures, which best way to take it for the finance.
Right, like I said, we wanted to get this in front of you as soon as
Oh,
possible.
yeah, absolutely, I mean, this time
And,
is essential.
we'll make every provision to come back on the 20th with some good numbers.
The common sense was, why build a brand new police station and carry in your old equipment, and carry it back out 6 months, later, so, yeah, so. All right, guys, thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
All right.
Also, do you have any idea of what would be done with the old equipment, donating it, anything like that?
Chief, what will you be doing with the old
The
equipment, trading
vast,
it?
the system itself, we don't own. So,
Just the radios?
Yeah,
and
we've
the-
got some-
They're just gonna abandon it and leave it here?
not likely, it'll probably still get used by private industry. They'll use it commercially, taxi cab services, construction companies, they'll do that kind of thing, but, yeah, we don't actually own that equipment, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the subscriber equipment, we probably would donate to the academy.
Chief, that's a little scary, though. There should be some proprietary programming on there just for the police department.
That's why we're looking for a new system.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, if you're gonna just give away the old system,
Well, it's not ours, that's what I'm saying, we don't own it. It belongs to the Front Row community, it doesn't belong to the town.
We no longer.
Or the county.
okay, let me rephrase. There's, when I say proprietary, certain information that the police department would have to abstract.
I don't think I'm not following.
Well, I assume there's methods and things that you've got on there that you don't want the general public to see or use.
Encryption? Yeah.
We would actually be going to entirely new frequencies and on digital frequencies. So the radios that we have now are in the 800 band. When we abandon that, we're no longer using those frequencies whatsoever. So basically, when we shipped over a new system, the entire system we're on now is completely abandoned. We're not even on it. We wouldn't be transmitting on it because we're going to different licensing on older frequencies.
It's a whole different,
Everything with the radio, even though the frequencies would be programmed, no one's going to hear anything because we're no longer going to be on any of those channels.
Right. Does that answer your question?
Kind of.
Okay.
All right. Move on to council discussion goals, time permitting. I think we got a few minutes to talk about something before it gets too late. Jacob, you have anything? Morrison?
I don't have anything.
John? Gary? Bill?
I want to have something.
Being the closed meeting has been canceled since we don't have legal representation, this meeting is adjourned.